Welcome to 6 Hits Overdrive. Did you know that most people who buy these e-bikes right now are buying them online? The problem with that is that most people, when they get all the hype online and all the fancy websites, end up with a bike that they don't really need that costs them far too much money. Meet the BikTrix Swift Lite. A bike that more than 90% of people, it's probably all they need that's under $1,500. Guys, before we get started, remember to share, like, comment, and subscribe, especially the commenting part. Leave your comments down below and I'll get back to you, and so will a lot of other different readers and watchers of this YouTube channel. And most of all, stick around to the end so I can show you the pros and cons of this e-bike. The bike I currently own and ride is a BikTrix bike as well. It's the Stunner X and it's a 24x3 version. Now, when I first started looking for that bike, I thought for sure that I'd need the 26x4" edition by looking at the website. I mean, more ground clearance, big fat tires, aggressive looking. Luckily for me, I found a dealership that actually had them in stock and where I could ride them, sit on them, see how they fit me. Because when it turned out, in the end, that bike was much too big for a guy that's only 5'7" with a 30-inch inseam. And for that matter, most of the e-bikes out there, especially the ones with the monster tires, are bigger than the riders that are riding them. So you've got to be very careful, especially if you're ordering online. Most people will fit a bike more this size. Also, a lot of people are really going to be, the people that are really wanting these bikes are going to really want a step-through edition. I mean, a lot of the people that are getting into these e-bikes are people that haven't ridden bikes in 20, 30, or even 40 years. And they're just getting back into it to feel healthy again. I mean, think about that. If you have been away from riding bikes and you walk up to one of these big behemoths, I mean, it's like a David and Goliath syndrome. This is where the Swift Lite comes in. I mean, it's rated as a level 2 bike, which means it goes under 30 kilometers an hour, and you need pedal assist to achieve that. It has a standalone throttle, but also the rear hub is under 500 watts. So this bike is pretty much legal by most standards to go on bike trails pretty much anywhere in Canada. Of course, this allows you to ride more, to get out there, to enjoy it a little bit more, and to ride all the trails. The bike, this Swift Lite, is lighter than most bikes. It's 50 pounds. And that's without the battery, but it's not a big bat. And if you're absolutely wiped out and you don't want to pedal with the bike, there is a throttle option on the bike that you can just use the throttle alone and tool around if you're too tired to pedal. The bike has a set of front forks, which makes it really light and easy on the wrists. A rear rack is included with the bike. It also has a kickstand and a front headlight and a rear taillight integrated, and the taillight works when you hit the brakes, it lights up. The only thing that's on the light size, really, that's implied in the name is the battery size, which you might want one as an extra because this one only gets about 30 kilometers worth of range. So if you're out riding with other people that have bikes that have 75 to 100 to 150 kilometers, you might want an extra battery for that day. That's about $400 Canadian. Last but not least is the motor on this bike. It's hub drive, and I think it's 350 watts according to the website. However, the dealership thought it was 500 watts. So I'll try to clear that up by the end of this video. With that motor, you should be able to climb most trail hills. Like if there's a walking trail or something like that that's paved, or any roads that cars go on, this thing should be able to get up those hills and everything. But don't expect to go mountain bike riding on this bike. The whole general bike is not made for something like that. It's made for commuting on paved roads and maybe light gravel. Well, first off, let's tell you about the quality of this bike. The welds, the brakes, everything like that, all seem to work quite nicely together in a nice little package. And it's really surprising at how much quality there actually is in this bike. It's very easy to get on and off the bike. It's small and it feels really light. It's close to the same weight as my bike, but it just feels way lighter than the Stunner X. And that little bit of extra detail, like nice welds and everything the BikTrix Stunner X has, have all been translated onto this bike. It looks very good, and it's a big, thick frame. It's meant to be an e-bike. The wheels, while they might not be mountain bike wheels, are what most people need. It's just a nice commuter wheel, and yeah, quiet and really easy to turn. I like that it's kitted out with a front and rear headlight. The brake light is integrated, so you hit the brakes and the brake light turns on. The headlight you just turn on in the menu. I also like that it's got standard equipment, nice thumb throttle, nice grips, yeah, and a nice luggage rack on the back too, so you can carry, you know, get a tail bag or something like that for it. That's really cool. The shifter is a Shimano 6-speed and it works flawlessly up and down through the gears, no problem. But of course, this one is bought through Grinding Gears here in Lloyd, and these guys have set this bike up professionally. So that's one difference. When you buy a bike online and when you buy it at the store, you might have to pay a little fee for setting it up. But when it's done, it's done. And the guys are more than happy to help you out with warranty. Another way you can tell if a bike has good quality is just how easy it rides when you're not using the pedal assist. And this one is really good. Like, gets up and goes right away. Your pedal input seems like it's well earned. I'm riding it right now without any pedal assist, and you know, it's really easy to get this thing going. And that's pretty important, because if your battery ever does die when you're out for a ride, you want a bike that can make it home easily, that you can pedal. And this is no different than buying a commuter bike. It pedals easy and is very efficient. The suspension takes a little bit of the jarring off the wrists, but judging by the size of the forks there, it's not really meant for off-road. I wouldn't be hammering it or anything like that, but on a nice little trail like I'm doing now, a walking trail, very nice indeed. So that's it. That's about all I can think of while I'm riding the bike. Very nice package for under $1,500 Canadian. Whew. It's really all that most people need if they don't want to go off-roading and, you know, they're not into 50 kilometers an hour. This bike is like, it moves you along really nicely at 20 kilometers an hour. Nothing is going to slow this thing down. It's a very competent package, very excellent fit and finish. Let's go back and I'll give you my conclusion. All right, so now that we've ridden it and everything, what do I think of it? Well, let me tell you, for $14.99 Canadian, this bike is hard to beat. This thing is a really high quality bike with good components and a fairly quick motor. 30 kilometers an hour is nothing to sneeze at. When you're looking at a bike like this, that's a lot of people's top speed on a mountain bike. This bike is super easy to drive around. Like, it's very lightweight feeling. It feels like a regular bicycle, and most e-bikes aren't like that. But this one's very flickable. The one thing I'll say about this bike is if you are a bigger guy, maybe go for a different bigger e-bike. And maybe you can find one in this budget range, maybe you can't. But this one is not tremendously big. For guys like me, 5'7", 5'8", no problem. I think up to maybe 6'1" or 2" would be the max on this bike though. After that, I think you should be riding something a little bit bigger. This bike is designed more for the average person. It also, with that hub drive, is one of the easiest systems to use. You don't have to worry about what gears you're in. Just put it in pedal assist and it'll do the work for you. You don't have to worry about shifting up and down with gears. Hub motors are great that way. So as I said before, you're not going to conquer Mount Everest with this bike. You're not going to go on mountain bike trails and dominate. It's meant for around town and an easy riding bike with a 350 watt motor that, quite frankly, should just get you around to wherever you need to go and is pretty efficient. So I hope this review helped you out. For $1,500, you're going to get a nice, non-intimidating bike that anybody can pick up and ride. If that's you, you really can't go wrong with this bike. It's got excellent build quality, nice components, and it should last you a real long time. And like I said before, the only thing you might need is if you want to go for longer rides once you get into it, you might want to buy a separate battery, and you can buy those for 400 Canadian off the website and have a spare battery with you. You've got a rack to carry it, so you know, when you need to, just carry it along with you. Talking about the website and everything, from all I can see with my Stunner X, the BikTrix after-sales service is actually pretty good, especially for an online company primarily. They really look after people. There's good forum groups and everybody seems to help everybody out on these bikes. You get some complaints this year about people not getting their bikes on time, but that's more to do to market conditions due to COVID, I think. Generally, they try to reach out and they pay for repairs, and If you buy it from a bike shop, that's a really good idea because they'll set it all up for you. Well, that's it, guys. If I missed anything, put the comments below, and remember to share, like, comment, and subscribe to see more of this content. This is Six's Overdrive. That's all I got for you now. Bye-bye.